All right, so let's talk about the one thing where I don't hear too many business owners or just market participants talk about when it comes to AI. Now, I help businesses implement AI, kind of a consulting position. I talk to a lot of people day to day about AI, and I'm very in the know with what is currently going on in the markets, new updates and stuff. So as I even become more familiar with AI, right? For instance, Gemini 3 at the time of this recording just came out and it is blowing my mind. Cursor blows my mind. All these tools blow my mind. So the kind of the elephant in the room, and I think it's always going to be there, is will AI obviously take our jobs? And there's a sentiment around the market that AI won't take your job, but someone using it will. And I think, to be frank with you, to be blunt, I don't think that's true. I think AI is going to take your job. And it doesn't, you don't need to be Einstein to think or to see that we're only a few years into this. Like ChatGPT, the first model came out a few years ago, and look where we are now. We have, Cursor and Claude 3.5 and Claude Code. They can do a lot of coding, right? And they can build us apps and all this other crazy stuff. Sure, it's maybe not as easy as I make it sound, but the capabilities of these models, and we're still early in the game. Like it honestly, it blows my mind. What I saw Nana Banana Pro do to create visuals and to create infographics blew my mind. Okay, it's absolutely stunning. It's frankly scary, right? And so that's why people have to start saying AI, someone using AI will take your job. Because really, if you think about it, the implications or the identity crisis people are going to have, which will occur in masses, okay? It's going to be epidemic, right? People aren't going to know what to do, right? And so obviously you can't come screaming that because no one wants to hear that. So what do they say? Well, they say, hey, someone using AI will take your job. I do think that's true also, but I only think that's probably for like the 1% or the 0.01%. Elon will still use AI to do what Elon wants to do. For the majority of us, for the humans, we are going to be replaced because, administrative work will be gone shortly here. Even just look at all the layoffs. Tons of layoffs happening in very prominent businesses. And everyone is now implementing like robotics, AI, and all this stuff to obviously decrease costs. So, unfortunately, I do think AI will take your job. And yes, obviously, like with every kind of revolution, like the Industrial Revolution, all this other stuff, there are new sectors open, the new sectors open, new opportunities open up that, just weren't there prior. And I do believe that will happen, obviously, with AI. I think we're going to have basically, everybody kind of create their own organization where it's like 1 to 2 people and you have all these agents. I think Elon is already speaking about it, where money will not be basically a valid currency or value to the extent it is today. Rather, maybe it's, energy, which I think energy is the currency of the future. So any way that you can get close to energy, you can start making more energy, you can start understanding energy better. I think you'll be in a good spot. Because, again, as I get more familiar with these tasks, I start to realize, I'm already cooked. I'm already done, right? And so you have to upskill. You have to upskill quickly, because if you don't, unfortunately, people aren't going to want to hire humans anymore. They're just not. That's my dog there, just going for a walk. But people aren't going to want to hire humans. Humans are a pain in the ass, right? Obviously, pros and cons. Not here to discuss that, but let's keep going. So, people aren't going to want to hire humans. Humans, they complain, they're tired. They're great for about a month, and then you see a decline in performance. These agents are just go, go, go 24/7. Okay. So, you know, you have to really start thinking. And that's why, I mean, Gary Vee even, sorry, just switching hands here. Gary Vee even has, you know, his kind of main thesis now is that you're going to want, you know, there's going to be a premium to the one-to-one, right? Like the one-to-one interactions, which I believe, or a community is going to have more of a prominent, you know, it's going to have more weight within the economy, within the ecosystem, because you're just going to want kind of the one-to-one touch, the human touch, right here and there. But what I also do think, you know, like even Gary Vee says, he says, you know, you're going to want to start building businesses that, you know, you can walk with another human. You're going to want to pay for that. I think that's crazy, but I do think that's true. I think that's probably going to come. So, you know, a lot is happening, and it's scary because it's moving so quickly. You know, you spend maybe 2 to 3 weeks understanding one model, and then they have an upgrade, and then you have to understand it again. And it's moving so quickly where even if you are building apps, you realize it takes you a while to build apps because we're human. We have to sleep, we have to eat, we work, all this other stuff. And by the time the new update comes out, like, you have to redo the whole app. So it's just crazy. It's crazy. And I don't think enough people talk about it. There is going to be, unfortunately, an existential crisis because people are going to start losing their identities, right? And that's why it's a protection of the ego, because let's be honest, you know, if you even spent a few years developing something, you obviously don't want people saying AI is going to take your job, right? Like if you told me, I don't know, fitness, for instance, I've been doing fitness for 10 plus years. And if you came up to me and you said, well, there's a pill you can take that just gives you a six-pack, I'm gonna be like, no, it can't be. There's so many things wrong with that. I'm gonna fight against it. There's a resistance there because I don't want that to be true. So I think AI will take your job. So you gotta upskill fast. You gotta understand where the nuances are. You gotta understand where the play is, where things are going, how to be ahead of the curve, or at least what you're gonna have to do. And I'll end off here. You know, AI and humans will be battling, let's just say for income, right? Or positions or whatever. So you're not going to want to be battling. It's going to be hard to get ahead of AI. It is. So instead of getting ahead of AI, you're going to want to get ahead of humans. So maybe you are, I don't know, a manager of AI or something. But instead of beating the AI, because that's going to be very, very difficult, you're going to want to just beat the humans. So upskill and get ahead of it quickly. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.